Let's see what's inside this bad boy.
Here we go.
Here we go. Have you heard the name Harrison Labs? If not, maybe you should, because according to the research I did, they actually made the first car audio amp. 1974, they developed the first standalone auto sound amplifier, U.S. patent number 4056783 by Audio Kinetics Corporation, which is what Harrison Labs was called before they were called Harrison Labs. They also introduced the first super caps, or what they call stiffening caps, and then they also had these other devices called the F-mods. You guys may have seen these before. They're kind of inline crossovers you can use with your amplifiers. So let's go to 2000 and this car stereo review and check out Harrison Labs, and we see this Drag Queen mono power amplifier, $3,000. Says it's stable to 0.25 ohms, 20,000 watts. What is this all about? It also talks about either having caps or having batteries internal and up to 150 pounds. Look at the 2000 car audio and electronics as well, the directory. And it's even more interesting here because we see two different drag queens. We see a drag queen 1 and a drag queen 2. And yeah, up to $5,000 and 1,600 watts by 8. We'll talk about that model and additional model here coming up soon in the video, so stick around for that. So what we did is we looked up archive.org and looked up Harrison Labs. Unfortunately, their website is not so great for the old content, but we did find the Drag Queen 10 kW amp for $3,000 again, so it appears those directories were correct. Here's the amplifier, very unique looking amplifier. You can see the dimensions here. It's actually really long, 34 inches by 14 inches wide by about 8 inches tall. So it's a pretty big amplifier. And here on the front of the amp, you can see some LEDs over on the far left side. There's two different distribution blocks. Those are actually for the speaker outputs. Then we have the input section for the power ground, turn on, and also the RCA. Here's a closer look at the LEDs, the two different terminal blocks. Again, those are for the speakers, which seems kind of odd, but yeah, that's how it works. And then again, here on the far right side, you see a single RCA jack, power, ground, and remote turn on. As we're trying to get into the guts here, we're going to do some big dummy math for you. It says 60 amp fuses. Let's see, there's 4 of those in there. And it says 200 amps max. So not really sure if that's new math or when this thing came out. Is this in the like late 90s? Like 90?
Well before Common Core.
Well before Common Core. So we have 110 to 500 hertz, 625 watts at 4 ohms, and it's a 1/4 ohm minimum. It did come with batteries that were custom made with little logos, and it even has a little HL in the top. There was 4. Is that right, Jason? 4 batteries?
6.
6 batteries. So you got 6 batteries, you got a big old fat amp that looks like it was put together at your local HVAC place, right? Isn't that like HVAC aluminum, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably went and stole some heat exchanger units from the attic of people so they could make some amps.
You big dummy.
But we're gonna get inside of it here and we'll show you what it looks like, so stay tuned. Let's see what's inside this bad boy.
Here we go.
Here we go. What?
Where's the beef? Hey, where's the beef? I don't think there's anybody back there.
Got him. Got him.
Harrison Laboratory. This is the Drag Queen 20,000 watt burp amp. Really? Nothing there. Actually, this is where all the batteries go, according to the manual. Batteries go in here, but still doesn't look like a whole lot of goodness for me. Do have a couple fans. Have an audio amplifier board here. We have the key, the one key to rule them all. Right here, goes into the amp. It actually connects the relay. Sorry, relay. It lays the reed. And here's a charging circuit board to charge up the batteries or caps to their full voltage. And yeah, it looks like it was made from an HVAC manufacturer. It's like, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch, I think maybe, aluminum. There's another board here. Super rare to have even see one of these and to see the batteries with it. There's 2 of the 4 batteries. We don't have all 4, we don't have all 6. It did have 6 at one time, but they were lost in transit, unfortunately. But yeah, just a cool little amp here. It's got 1 RCA jack and power and ground, and there's the trigger. It's not a turn on, they call it a trigger. So don't pull that. Triggers and keys, and we do have little LEDs, and we have fault. I bet you that fault light comes on a lot. But yeah, it looks like when we first opened it up, we thought, hey, it's missing all the internals. But when we looked at the manual that came with it, it actually shows that the batteries, see, the batteries actually go on the inside. It's either a 6 battery configuration or a 4 battery configuration. We were supposed to have 6, but I think a couple of the batteries got lost in transit. Thank you, UPS. But let's go back to the first page. Specs: power output 4 battery model, 50 volts nominal, squared and divided by speaker impedance. Maximum power non-warranted 1/8 ohm, 20,000 watts. Typical RMS power is 10,000 watts at a 1/4 ohm and 5,000 at 1/2 ohm. Yeah, I believe that. It's class HL, designed for 30-second audio bursts to drive woofers up to 300 hertz. Very, very interesting. So the 20,000 watt amplifier, look at the power wire here. Can you see that? That is maybe 16 gauge. So instead of sounding like a complete dummy, I wanted to get some information from not only the owner, but also an amplifier engineer to find out what was going on inside this amp. And basically what happens is the batteries work as the rail voltage for the audio rails. So that's how you can get that much power with just using a standard 12 volt input. And also the amplifier only requires like a 30 amp input to charge up the batteries, and then it goes for about 30 seconds or so with the burst. So one of these circuit boards here is actually for charging to keep the batteries or capacitors at full charge. I was very interested to get more information, and luckily Stan Harrison at Harrison Labs replied back and said there was a Drag King, and he said there was one made, but I actually got a picture here that showed there was 2 of those made. He said there was only about 5 of the Drag Queens made, and it was around the year 2000. He said they discontinued due to lack of sales, and the amp basically produced a clip signal, a limited frequency range up to around 200 hertz. It charged from the vehicle, and that's just how it worked. It just clipped the signal, and it was very efficient. So I know you guys would love to see me test this on the dyno, but this amp is so rare. I was actually in Texas with my friend Jason, and just to get a chance to look at it, you know, was super cool. So there will be no amp dyno test, but maybe in the future, who knows, we might put some lithium batteries in here and try it out. But also over the same weekend, we had the old school meet down in Texas. Got some really cool footage. It'll be coming up in a future video. And also we visited Kicker in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and got an awesome tour that we're going to cover that as well in a future videos. Can't wait to show you guys all the goodies. So as always, thank you for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing to my channel, supporting me at patreon.com/oldschoolstereo. You guys rock. Till next time, Big D, I'm out of here. All right. You have any last words, AJ, before you're speechless now?
I don't know what to expect. Y'all
Expect to be hurting when you get out. He's smiling right now, but
Let's get this. Are you ready?
You ready?
Ready. All right, here she comes.